Susana Morales was 16 years old when she was kidnapped and brutally murdered by a Georgia cop. It says Susana's story has made headlines again following the recent Georgia House passing of House Bill 1105. Susana Morales' tragic story has resurfaced following the recent news about House Bill 1105. The bill grants police the authority to arrest individuals with probable cause who are suspected of being in the U.S. illegally. The recent Georgia House passing came after the murder of Lincoln Riley, whose life was brutally taken by Jose Ibarra. It says users on social media are bringing Susana's story to light because her story did not get national coverage. Many of those demanding justice believe that the tragedies involving minority groups deserve the same attention. What happened to Susana Morales? Susana Morales was last seen by her family and friends in July 2022. In September of that year, PULP posted a missing persons announcement and worked closely with her sister to get details surrounding her disappearance. She texted her mother at 9:40 p.m. on July 26 and was not heard from again. In February 2023, Gwinnett County Police revealed that her remains were found near a creek. DNA matched Morales' dental records. So, missing person, 16-year-old Susana Morales, missing since July. Update, body found in Gwinnett County, identified as missing 16-year-old Susana Morales. In 2023, a new former Metro Atlanta police officer was arrested in connection to Susana's death. Miles Bryant was arrested in connection to Susana Morales. At the time, he was charged with concealing the death of another and false report of a crime. Bryant, who was working as a Doraville police officer at the time of Morales' death, also lived close to where she was last reported. His charges now include felony murder, malice murder, kidnapping, false report of a crime, and most recently a criminal attempt to commit sexual assault charge. Miles Bryant filed a false police report the day after Susan Morales went missing. The former Doraville police officer attempted to cover his tracks with a false police report. He claimed he was working as a courtesy officer at the Sterling Glen apartment when someone stole his Glock 19 handgun. Investigators found Bryant's handgun in the same area where they found Morales' remains. Bryant had a history of suspicious behavior such as stalking and burglary. The former police officer was in the process of becoming a member of the Georgia National Guard. He has since been discharged following his arrest. However, he had a history of suspicious activities. He faced charges of first-degree burglary over accusations that he broke into the home of one of his former classmates. The former classmate shared that in May 2019, he stalked her and broke into her home. Doraville police claimed it underwent an administrative investigation and that once Bryant was spoken to, the behavior had stopped. Investigators closed the case due to lack of leads. Before becoming a Doraville police officer, Bryant had been a sworn sheriff's deputy in Forsyth County from March 2020 to May 2021. Justice for Susan Morales and Laken Riley. So, and it's got the sources here. So,
the guy's convicted in jail already. He got justice. They got justice.
Yeah. Yeah. What a crazy and sad story.
I'm just trying to figure out the whole purpose of this, other than to make people sad and shit like that. Because it's this bad thing happened to this person, and the guy was caught. He's been sentenced and been put in jail. What? Okay, so what's going on from here?
Yeah.
I mean, other than to just make people feel bad, what is the purpose of this?
Well, they're talking about the House Bill 1105 that you can pick up someone just for suspecting that they're illegal. So maybe there's what they're trying to say is that
Well,
he,
at what here's the thing. He's not a cop. He wasn't a cop, or well, at the time it happened, he was not a cop because it said he was a security officer at an apartment complex or something like that. Go another one over. Another one over. Yeah, there's more to the story because
right
the
here, it
attempt
says
to commit.
Bryant, who was working as a Doraville police officer at the time of Morales' death.
Go
So,
to the
so
next page.
it
Okay,
says
yeah. See, he lost his gun while working as a courtesy officer.
he said he
So yes,
claimed he was working at.
he was a cop, but he did not use his police authority to commit the crime.
Yeah. So let's see the caption. It says Susana Morales' tragic story has resurfaced following the recent news about House Bill 1105. Users on social media are bringing Susana's story to light because her story did not get national coverage. Many of those demanding justice believe that tragedies involving minority groups deserve the same attention. Our hearts are with both Susana and
But
Lakin's family during
how
these hard times.
often do we see anything when it's done, solved, convicted, and stuff like that? That's not the stuff that they want. That's not the stuff they want to see. That wasn't a big, bad, nasty kind of thing. I mean, like I
I
said,
think
I
I
see
think
no
what they're
other
saying
purpose. Go ahead.
I think what they're saying is that when the violence is done to like the
They're
minority
trying.
groups,
They're trying to turn it into part another nail in the being hammered by racist divide.
yeah, well, when the crime is going at immigrants, then it doesn't make news, is what they're trying to say. Because they vilify the immigrants in the
But
media
the
and they
difference,
dehumanize them.
the difference being, that's not an unknown crime or anything like that. Most of the ones that we're looking at, they don't get solved yet. It's right as they get solved. Right as this one gets solved, did anyone know about it? Did it come out? They're saying do it again, but uh,
It's a sad story. This guy obviously was like a stalker. He was stalking some other chick. Guy obviously got problems.
yeah, I'm
For,
more worried about the fact that they let him become a police officer than highlighting this as a official versus immigrant situation.
yeah,
You know, the other side of the story. No, this story should be about why was this guy given authority?
yeah,
If
yeah,
he did not have that authority, would we have the same result? We don't know. But the question is, why was this person given authority in the first place?
yeah. Given his shady background. First comment, it says if the guy who did it already got caught, then she got justice. I don't understand. That's basically what you said. Another comment says, what do the two stories have in common other than two young girls who were murdered? The suspects don't have a similar story at all. Another one that says he had a history and they still hired him. What is happening? That's another comment that
The
you
second one doesn't
basically.
realize it's the same story.
No, they we're linking it to the Lincoln, what's her name?
Oh,
Lincoln Riley, which was in the news recently because of the comments that
okay. So here's a
Biden made in the State of the Union address.
here's a really cool question for that whole situation and stuff like that. Why are you saying all lives matter?
I don't know what you're trying to get at. What do you
He
mean?
was talking about Lincoln Riley.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about that. He was saying, we're looking at this kind of thing and stuff like that. You know, these lives matter. So you're now using this color lives matter, these other people lives matter to distract from one particular thing and or one particular argument and things like that. I'm trying to go soft. It's just
Uh,
I'm so fuddled in the you know the whole, well, we're not talking about Trump right now. We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about this. We're not talking about Susana Morales. They were talking about Lincoln Riley. They're not
right.
talking about white lives matter. You're saying, oh, well, Morales lives matter. Well, what does that have to do with Riley lives matter?
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I have to agree. That the correlation is weak, if not present.
It's the exact same argument that the left stood up on a fucking soapbox and a high horse and used to justify all of their attacks against certain people.
Mm. Well, I believe it is
And
true.
I'm not saying that we should not have had this. Matter of fact, we need to let people know how in danger these immigrants are and how not protected and how people prey on them because they're not protected. We
Right.
need to make people understand that. And you notice that while I've been arguing, you, I know you. Matter of fact, you're probably sitting there going, "Fuck, I don't know what to say," because this seems like a complete flip from what I've been saying, but it's not. I've never at any time said I don't care about them. I don't care about their rights. I don't think they should be harmed, or I think they should be harmed. I think that they need to be protected too. And the problem is, we don't know where they are. We don't know where they're going. To get in, most of them have someone that's like, yes, I have family at this address. Okay, go. And there's a lot that they don't. I know someone in New York. I think maybe we'll put them on a bus. I mean, but at the same time, because of the fact that they're not documented and they're in all of this strange confusion moving around, and no offense, government gives them a check with more money than they're used to seeing in 2 or 3 months, not realizing it's going to last them a week. And then they start becoming victims because the thing about the immigration process is not about bringing people in and going, hey, welcome to America. Fuck you. It's about, hey, come to America, live amongst us for a few years, learn what our culture is like, find out if you are willing to mix in or be part of it or be part of a growing larger thing. The thing going on with the immigrants right now is they're all going to small communities all across America that are only their communities. They're not integrating into America. They're not becoming Americans. They're not joining us. They're just making small communities of themselves in small areas, which makes them vulnerable. It makes them vulnerable both to racist assholes who will take advantage of them, companies and businesses that will take advantage of them, but to their own people, because we all know, and even you have to admit, they brought their crime and their gangs and their organizations like that with them because they couldn't be filtered out. It couldn't be made new. The same way the Tong, the Triad, and all the other organizations and things like that of different things got their foot into America because it was brought over with the people that came. And I'm not using that as a close the border bad thing. I mean, I'm just saying We have to consider this when we discuss this subject.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not anti-immigration. I am anti not mixing pot.
well, the it is true that they dehumanize these people, and the stories where they get you know hurt or whatever or murdered
Some
don't
people
get the
say they
same.
deserve it, and that's fucking disgusting coming from Americans.
Well,
Well, they shouldn't be over here like that. They get what they deserve. No. The whole
and
idea is they came over for different and better, and that is part of our responsibility. Even if you don't want them next door to you, you should not wish harm upon them because
that's
that
what I
is not
mean.
the American way.
They're
The
dehumanizing
American way
them,
is
and
fuck it, you're here. We got to figure this out. We'll figure it out. Till then, don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you.
well, the part of dehumanizing them is not making their stories known, or it's not a story. It doesn't follow the narrative.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. We need to tell people about this. Not necessarily this case, but the ones that aren't solved. The ones that actually can get internet people and media people looking into them, investigating.
And that's the reason
I
why they
mean,
should be covered.
this is an outrage story. This is literally just to go, well, they never think about people, but it's like, you can't help her now. What about the ones that are missing that you can help, that you can talk about? Ones cases that have not been solved yet. Those are the ones that we need to be looking at. The
Let
girls
me
that come over here and just vanish from their parents, from their families.
let me read this comment here. It says the issue is that with Lakin, they wanted to add her killer's immigration status like it mattered. Just because he was an immigrant, which he came legally, or whether he came illegally or legally, doesn't make him a murderer. He's that way because he's just a shitty person. But
Oh,
because late,
but if they like Trump, it makes a difference.
hold on, let me finish the comment. It says he's that way because he's just a shitty person. But because Lakin is white, for some reason he came here just to kill her. No, whereas Susana is Hispanic and didn't get the same coverage or attention, and this lame had an issue. Ugh, this lame had issues with stalking. The bad sentence made it hard for me to read it. So let me read it again because I chopped it up. The issue is with Lakin, they wanted to add her killer's immigration status like it mattered. Just because he was an immigrant, whether he came illegally or legally,
Okay,
doesn't
but
make him a murderer. He's
right
that.
there. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The whole thing of all these school shootings. Oh, well, it was a conservative shooter. Oh, they were a Trump supporter. They had a MAGA hat. All of that is important to them when they broadcast the news. Yet this kind of throwing a word in, there's problems with both sides, man. This is a both sides thing doing it like that. And yes, because of the situation and because of legality, it kind of does matter whether they were legal or illegal. Because, like, my argument was, she does not, she should have the normal protection of the law and everything about it just because she's alive here in America. Her status as an immigrant does not make her less under our laws.
Yeah, but see, them throwing in the illegal immigrant in the phrasing when they cover this story is to, you know, try
Okay,
to support the narrative
but
that
then
you
why
have
did you have?
immigrants coming over here committing crimes,
But
and
then why
that's
do
a
you have to
reason to
say that
dehumanize them on the
with?
border.
But why do you have to say that with Susana? Why do you have to make the same designation of status? Does that matter? Should all of that be removed? The man killed the girl, not the citizen killed the immigrant, not the immigrant killed the citizen, not the conservative school shooter, not the trans school shooter.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking. We're talking about narratives and how they create them. And they use those words and those phrasing to do that. Breaking: Tate brothers arrested in Romania by UK royal family. These guys just can't stay out of trouble. Says they were served with an arrest warrant issued by the United Kingdom. Says